A good shooter is hard to spoil with elements from other genres. Rather, on the contrary, rich and multi-structured gameplay is a guarantee that the gamer will not fall asleep in front of the monitor. So for modern games, it is considered good form to combine several fundamental genre principles at once. Among the open-world RPG shooters, Fallout 4 has one of the deepest and most interesting role-playing systems. In the fourth part, it is presented with a redesigned version of the special system, created back in 1996 for the first Fallout. In the updated version, 7 main attributes, strength, perception, stamina, etc., are combined with the skills and perks of the hero. Visually, this is represented by a huge poster, which contains funny Volt Boys symbolizing skills and perks. Present in Fallout 4, and such an important feature for RPG, as accounting for physical condition. The player can temporarily change the characteristics of the character with the help of pharmaceuticals, cooked food, drugs, alcohol, etc. However, over time, the hero may develop addiction to drugs, which leads to a decrease in characteristics. Also, his body accumulates radiation and is susceptible to various types of damage. In case of serious damage to the limbs, head or body, the hero receives a penalty to movement, aiming, hearing, and vision. Deus Ex, a series of first-person shooter RPGs set in a cyberpunk setting that players love in large part due to the non-linear gameplay. Its basis was a complex device and high interactivity of the levels, as well as the presence of a well-thought-out role-playing system that allows you to create your own style of passing and fits well into the general surroundings. We are talking about the so-called system of augmentations, high-tech implants and prostheses, giving the hero various passive and active skills. Selected and installed augmentations can then be improved, increasing their effectiveness and unlocking new useful properties. Also in the game, there is a large selection of weapons and all sorts of ingenious gadgets that can be modified. The hero can carry the things he likes in his inventory, using them as needed. Prey. The list continues with another great fantastic first-person shooter that has an interesting role-playing system of several structural elements. Firstly, the main character has passive and active abilities, divided into 3 branches: Scientist, Engineer, and Guard. 3 more branches of alien abilities, Energy, Transformation, Telepathy, become available a little later. Secondly, the hero can improve his equipment, represented by a space suit and a psychoscope. In addition, Prey has a large number of weapons with the possibility of upgrading them, as well as other useful devices and consumable items that can be stored in the inventory. There is also an interesting crafting system here that allows you to create valuable items from unnecessary trash in the fabricator. Finally, the space complex itself, in which the action takes place, is a huge open location, giving the player complete freedom of action. Borderlands, a series of fantastic shooters with unusual graphics and addictive gameplay, where RPG elements play a significant role. At the start, you can choose one of several playable characters with unique abilities, and then proceed to complete numerous tasks. The success of the action guarantees the receipt of money and experience, which are then spent on pumping the hero and acquiring improved equipment and weapons. Moreover, Borderlands has a huge number of different weapons and other useful items that are randomly generated. All this goodness can be bought, created, or taken from defeated enemies. Mass Effect. Each game in the Mass Effect series has a deep role-playing system, the description of the features of which would take up a lot of space in our material. Therefore, we limit ourselves to listing the key elements, the system of dialogues and relationships, the abundance of pumpable game classes, the ability to assemble your own squad, a lot of main and side quests, a large selection of equipment, non-linearity in the gameplay and plot, which leads to a unique ending. Rage, the brainchild of ID Software, a first-person shooter. The player is invited to plunge into a not very rosy future, in which a meteorite impact wipes civilization off the face of the Earth. The protagonist is forced not only to survive, hiding from mutants and bandits, but also to resist the tyrannical power. If the first game still tried to be serious, then the sequel started to dance and presented a gameplay filled with madness and bright colors. In both games, gamers will have to explore the open world, both on their own and in vehicles that can be improved, fight enemies, and look for the best equipment. From RPG, the ability to improve weapons and abilities has migrated here. BioShock. BioShock is already a classic series of shooters with RPG elements. The first two parts take you to the underwater city of Rapture, while the threequel sends you to the aerial metropolis of Columbia. The gameplay of the games is the same. You have to go through linear missions and kill enemies with a variety of weapons. The main feature of BioShock is superpowers, fire, mind control, and so on, that can be improved. All games in the series hold the bar of quality, and the third, according to critics and gamers, turned out to be the best of all. BioShock will take you on adventures that will remain in your memory for years to come. Gunfire Reborn. A mix of first-person shooter, RPG, and roguelite is Gunfire Reborn, a game that will take you to explore ever-changing dungeons where weapons are randomly generated and one mistake robs you of progress. The heroes are brave animals with unique characteristics, but the arsenal is full of exotic weapons, a submachine gun with TNT, magic gloves, and other interesting options. An excellent game for those who are not indifferent to roguelikes. The Outer Worlds. A story-driven role-playing game from the notorious Obsidian Entertainment Studio, which gave us Fallout New Vegas. The developers have remained true to tradition. Meet a fantastic storyline that you influence with your decisions, and a bizarre world inhabited by monsters and warring factions. Added as satellites with individual stories, nice graphics, and a system of flaws, and we get another goodness from Obsidian in the genre. Nobody expected anything from the Terminator game, and in vain. The shooter Terminator Resistance, released in 2019 and telling about the events that took place between the first and second parts, turned out to be excellent, judging by the mass of very positive reviews on Steam. In this creation, shooter and RPG mechanics are cleverly intertwined. You have to deal with cyborgs with the help of futuristic weapons, and in between skirmishes, solve cases at the base, take additional quests, upgrade the skills of the main character, and look for something valuable in the post-apocalyptic world for crafting and trade. Walking Zombie 2. A survival role-playing game that combines cartoony polygonal graphics with bloodthirsty zombies. The developers call their offspring the good old post-apocalyptic shooter. You are expected by the verified mechanics of the genre, such as interesting puzzles in the form of mini-games, intense firefights, quests, customization of guns, and many others. One of the highlights of the game can be considered a karma system. Good and bad deeds affect the development of the plot and the adventure as a whole. Well, it's better to learn about the rest of the chips personally. The game is definitely worth your time. The Ascent. A driving role-playing action movie in a cyberpunk setting and with an isometric perspective. An intriguing plot invites you to play as a member of a global corporation that ceases to exist. Alone or with a group of friends, you have to confront the competitors of your former owner and criminal gangs. Your screen as you play through the Ascent will often be lit up with neon signs and explosions that can damage beautiful locations thanks to the elements of destructibility. From RPG here, leveling, and the ability to implant a variety of augmentations. To be continued. If your favorite game is not included in this list, write in the comments. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to our channel, watch our other videos, press like, turn on notifications, and you will always be aware of what to play today.